Okay, awesomeness of new conversation. I think this is our fourth one probably that we've done. So we tuned in and we thought what we'd do is talk about knowing and creating. So can you know anything, anytime, any place? And can you create anything, anytime, any place? And we were just chatting about how those two things are a bit interwoven. So let me just start by saying there was a time where I didn't know anything, you know, like walking around blind kind of thing. And then what happened is I started to realize that consciousness has information and answers and insights and things like that. So I began to develop the skill of getting information, of downloading it, of connecting with it. And then at some point I stopped trying to put it outside myself, and I knew I can kind of fuse that intelligence with me. So my knowing is more spontaneously in me. It's less I have to go somewhere and get something. It's more like, boom, it's right there in me. And that's because of because the fusion of consciousness and our own physicality and the infinite intelligence and our own intelligence coming together. Therefore, the knowing is more spontaneous. And yet, then you come up to the place that says, well, yeah, you can know, but if you know, that's what's known. So to me, the next thing is creating from an expansive knowing that allows new creation. That's how I would kind of frame this conversation in a kind of step by step. That might blow some people's minds, I don't know, but that's what I got to offer on it so far. How about you?
Yeah, because it's interesting, and I could replace everywhere where you said knowing with creating. So before, when I used to create, I would bring in the energies that I was creating with. I would become the energy of that thing, whatever that is, and then be guided by those energies in what to do next. So that's how I would bring things into being. And now I can't really do that. If I sit and try and bring in energy, it doesn't work like that anymore, because I'm actually creating the energy from which whatever it is will then be created. So it's much more in the moment. So in the same way as we were saying that, you know, the knowledge is in the moment because it's now more embodied. For me, creation is more embodied. So it's much more in the moment.
Well, and that's because we've moved from, I used the term last week, I think, from mega minions.
Mega minions.
Like Source had work it wanted done, and we were the mega minions. Okay, send it on, I'll do that work for you. It was kind of like that. And I think now what's happened is we've embodied Source. We've downloaded all of that into everything and into ourselves. Therefore, as Source, we are an originator of knowing and of creation. That's the shift that I think has happened. That's why we talk about new thinking and new thought in one of the videos, because you originate. That would be my term for it. In your case, it's you create from nothing. Actually, not because there's some compulsion in the universe directing you, but because you are an original creator.
Yeah, and I remember before, it always used to be like you didn't feel good unless you were in your biggest work. So you had to tune in and get what is your biggest work for now. And that, again, doesn't exist anymore as a thing. You know, there is no such thing as biggest work. As Source, there is, it doesn't work the same way anymore.
Well, yeah, you're right, because that goes into multiple purposes and ever dynamically moving multiple purposes. That for me to say, oh, this is what I'm up to and that's my life's work. No, it's this and 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 this. Where I am called to it, there is a resonance in me for it. I won't do everything, but I could do everything if I wanted to, because as an original creator or as a Source being, therefore I could apply myself to anything and bring something to it that's unique and new. So it's very different, isn't it?
Yeah, but it won't necessarily all be exciting, and that's what you get. That's what you get drawn by, isn't it? It's like, okay, what's going to be fun to do next? Not.
Yeah. But I don't think I want to be a mega minion anymore. I never thought I was at the time, but I realized now that I was. you know. But it is true when you think about it, because you were getting impulses and you were feeling callings, and you would reach out and say what, and boom, this download would happen as if it was there and ready and waiting. And you know, so in a way, it was like following a set patterning of something that was waiting to happen, that was just waiting for us to step up to the game.
It was a marriage between your passions and it that brought it about. So it did feel exhilarating to be doing that work.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It wasn't in the same way sourced from within and directed from within. You were being directed by the energies, and now we are directing the energies. And it is a complete flip.
And like you said, you're creating from nothing. When you go to create, it's not like you're following some plan or even some wisp of a dream that's waiting. You go in and you originate.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating to me. You know, like that's really fascinating that we're doing that now. And how that kind of applies to everything. So, in one of the ways we've been talking about it in one of our groups is that I think we called it a God project. You know, so we went from, you had a purpose or a thing you were working on that was part of that, and then you could call it a creator project. You have a creator project. What are you going to work on creating? And how do you bring yourself fully to that in a way that's so new and so awesome and so creational that it's really exciting? You know? And I think one of the things to do that is you kind of have to really, I think one of the gifts of being in the awesomeness of new is you have to let go of what is. Most people do not realize how much they are guided and directed by what is. The consciousness of what is runs the show in most human beings without them having any awareness of it whatsoever. And so the willingness to let go of what is and become an original creator is really, to me, something really exciting.
It is. I mean, I call it traveling light because it literally is. It's only once you do it that you realize how much you've been carrying around with you of past, present, future, existing reality, and how heavy all of that is. And when you actually let that all go, it's complete freedom, and you are completely light. And then when you fall into the other space, it feels so heavy. You really realize how much of a weight it is to try and maneuver around a slow existing reality versus creating in a wide open space, whatever you want to create. But the other thing I want to say about what you just said as well is I think we found a lot of people recently being in that space where everything is blank. So you think you don't want to be here anymore, you don't want to live anymore, there's nothing, like you go to meditate and nothing comes, and all these different experiences like that. And then, like I said, you might be looking for what's my purpose now, and there is no purpose anymore. And you think that means that you're done here. So I think what I just wanted to say is, maybe it's not that. Maybe it is that you are now source and you need to source it. So your access point is going to be different, and how you work it is going to be different.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that's so exciting. That's one of the exhilarations of my life, is to be able, like, no matter what circumstance arrives, no matter how yucky it is, no matter how fabulous it is, whatever circumstance, I can come into each circumstance as an original creator and treat it as an original moment. Because if you don't create it as an original moment, you're bringing all kinds of stuff to it, which is kind of crazy. You know, when you think about it, why would I bring the past to the present moment? It doesn't necessarily compute. And
I love that.
It gives you this wide freedom of perception and energetic movement and becoming, and it's so much easier to be able to do it in that place of just this excitement of every moment, every opportunity is a new creation, and you're in charge of it. It's not the same though as, oh, you create your reality. That's a different level. you do create your reality, but you're creating everything that is comprised of all realities. You're originating reality for yourself and others and the world, you could say. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. It is that, because it takes whatever is happening into the realms of the exciting, rather than into the realms of possibility or problem, or, you know, like the whole gamut of those things where we've been used to playing, to this is a fresh new moment. And actually in that moment you can choose to engage with that thing or not, because it is just as easy to go, well, actually no, nothing for me here, and you're off to the thing that is exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I can just hear people's thoughts. Well, what about the practical stuff? I think I almost hear the brain's kind of ticking. Well, but what about if you have to face a practical thing? Well, I think there's ways through everything. I've seen you do it multiple times where you just make it irrelevant and it just kind of gets handled somehow, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of do those things quite differently, but at the same point, same kind of magical happenings for me, that any moment can have magic in it. And any moment, if you choose to step up and create it that way, that's the way it will be, you know. So, yeah, it's very cool. Okay, I think that covers us for this one, doesn't it?
I think so.
From knowing and creating to Mega Minions to original
magic.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Bye.